Anyway, this is the first question, which is about Mother, really.
Right.
Let me see. What did I say? What were your first musical impressions, Van?
Okay. She was playing a lot when I was very young.
Yeah.
And to hear her practicing was absolutely an incredible experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I would just sit mesmerized watching her play, listening to her. And her playing was so wonderful.
Really?
Yes, it was wonderful. And of course, there was a letter, and I have it at the house, and I wish at the other house in Shreveport.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go through that, I had, you know how you put off a lot of things going through.
Of course.
And so I really have put off that, and it was wonderful because Arthur Friedheim didn't say that she was the best pianist, but said it's the most talented people he had.
Marvelous.
And so she was a wonderful pianist. In so many ways, I envied her hands. They were so thrilling to watch, and she had a marvelous technique. And growing up with her, the things that she asked me to play, there was nothing that she would want me to study or play that she could demonstrate. Mm-hmm. So that was always very wonderful. But when I was 3, I was sort of I was a shy child, mm-hmm. and quiet, and I'd been listening to this child at a lesson, and so she had told him goodbye, and she'd gone into the kitchen, and I went to the piano, and I started imitating the little piece he was playing. So she thought it was he, having come back into the house, and when she found that I was playing, she said, "My goodness," she said, "well, you have a good ear, but you can't play by ear." And
mm-hmm.
and I said, "Well, yeah." She said, "Do you want to study?" And I said, "Yes." So she said, "Well, you will learn to read."
Mm-hmm.
So
you were reading that early.
Yeah, she taught me immediately how to read music.
At around what, 4?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so my father had made for her a blackboard.
Mm-hmm.
One side, and it was one of those that would swivel, so that on one side were the lines and spaces, and set up for her music theory class. Then on the other side, it was blank, so she could write words.
Mm-hmm. So she was making a living from teaching?
No, not really, because she didn't have that big a class. My father was already in the oil business.
Right.
So she was very much dedicated to taking care of a child. Mm-hmm. She was in a lot of demand for teaching,
but her main issue was being the wife and
being
mother.
a wife and mother. And
something so unfashionable today.
And so she would take a few students, but it was
right.
You see, I was a later life child, and so she had accumulated a certain amount of students who were wanting to have it. And she was a wonderful theory teacher. Oh, she was fabulous. And so for the theory classes, she had this blackboard, and so she would, by the time I came along, she had such a marvelous psychology in teaching, and she
really?
Could just make things just come alive.
Right.
She was just incredibly clear, and you understood everything so well. And so she would teach me the language of music, but she would mainly want me to realize that playing the piano was not digital. Uh-huh. Yes, it required the fingers, but it was sonic, so it was sound.
Already.
So when the early little pieces of whatever, if it was a 2-part invention, whatever, she would have me sight sing and then play.
Okay, so this is wonderful. We can't go on and on with each question, but this has everything for me. I mean, this is really marvelous. This idea that she made you into a musical entity that was vocal as well, and wonderful.
Well, she had a beautiful voice. She had studied voice in New York with Ralph Lee Sterner, and one day, some of her classmates he said, "Oh, I wish you didn't play the piano so well, so you'd give more attention to your voice."
Really?
And she had a beautiful voice, and she had wonderful breath control, and she was she was a musical being.
Yes, I
and
understand.
so
beautiful phrase, by the way. She was a musical being.
Yes. And she, even her speaking voice was musical, and it was so wonderful to hear. I could just hear her now. But by the time I was 7, they found I had a pleasant voice, and I did a lot of concerts between 8 and 11 years old as a voice soprano.
Now, as she was a student of, such an extraordinary tradition, Friedheim, and I know that you helped make that Pearl recording possible.
Oh, yes, you know that.
Oh, sure. And it's a wonderful recording. I mean, it's an important piece of history.
And I was so thrilled, because she wanted to write that little liner note.
And she did, a beautiful one.
Yeah, I was so proud of her, and she just loved Dr. Friedheim, Mr. Friedheim, so much.
What did she say particularly? Was there any specific thing that you remembered as a child that perhaps she had said to you about Friedheim?
Yes, because that was the thing that Chopin and Liszt both had this feeling, and of course I guess it comes, the real discovery of the piano comes from Beethoven, but that the piano, being a percussion instrument, must be transformed into a lyric instrument. And so with breath, which one of the Liszt quotations was that the pedal was the soul of the piano because it gave it breath.
Right.
And judicious pedaling is something that can help transform and give a lyric sweep with the right touch.
Perfect. And so that was something she had always heard and drilled.
Always heard, and would often repeat.
Yeah. Now, did you as a child, did you understand that you were fortunate in having a mother like that?
Oh yes, that was what was so funny, because I felt when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'd go with her and my father, of course, to where she would be I felt like her little manager. I was so anxious for her to play more, and I was always so happy when she was going to play in public, and I was so proud of her.
And was Father proud too?
Oh, he was exceedingly proud, and he was such a help. I really look back, when I think of him, I think, well, he was an ideal father, and he was an ideal husband, because he was always so supportive of what we wanted to do.
My God, so different than most men, really.
Yes, he was a very loving father, and he was a very helpful father.
That's where you got your love, I think, too, as well as her.
Yes, oh, absolutely. I know that to be true. He was a very loving man.
The wide space in your own heart.
And my parents loved each other so tremendously.
Oh, so
that it was a very happy home.
Yeah. Now, was there
a wonderful quote that was a friend was browsing through a bookstore, and this was about 9 years ago, and they sent a copy to me, and it was about quotations. It was sort of something about mothers, famous mothers, and they had looked through this, and one was a quotation of mothers in the book, and I said 20th century, a great 20th century piano teacher, and she said, the nicest thing that can happen to a child is to have two parents who love each other.
Isn't that the truth, though?
Yeah, and I think, oh, that's so true.
So true. So you felt that fortune.
I really did.
You understood that as a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I felt loved.
Did she give you, as you were growing up, a kind of special practicing regime, or was there a freedom? Was it just basically, she was guiding you?
Oh yes, she would guide me, but she would assign me things, and of course, as she said that she would, being her child, I had a lesson every day in some ways. But what really, in essence, was the windfall profit, I guess, for want of a better word, or the advantage, that's a better word. The advantage for me was that I had supervised practice.
Yes, yes.
And so that is a blessing, because when a child who is just beginning there are many mistakes that can be repeated, and that if you're not caught, you know.
This is what, of course, is the problem with most kids.
Yes.
They don't have that.
I don't have it, but I had supervised practice.
Did you know Teresa Carreño had it too?
Yes, I had read that, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. So few. Rao said to me he had it very much with Martin Krause. That he was watched constantly, and that he will, you know, that even when he was away, Krause, that the 7 daughters, believe it or not, were pianists, and they would come in and watch him practice.
Yes. Oh no, it's a great help.
It really is something. God, if that had happened to me.
Sometimes, you know, you can feel the ears listening, but that's very good.
Hey, that's a wonderful quote. You can hear the ears.
You can feel the ears.
Feel the ears listening. Did she ever get angry at you?
Oh, she had temperament, and she had personality, and I knew the difference.
Ah, that's interesting. And did you get angry at her as a little child?
I loved her so much. It wasn't anger. I didn't want to. I wanted her to be happy. Wasn't anger. I think it was very unusual with me. I would always be angry at myself. And I knew that she was trying to help me.
Yeah.
So I would be hard on myself.
Because you were not, coming up to that ideal? Is that it?
And I would strive.
Yes.
Which was, I could feel that she wanted to help me draw the best out of me.
But I see that it wasn't as simple as, you know, the little child loving. She had, as an actual pianist with a tradition, she must have instilled certain musical ideals in you. Yeah.
Yes.
Not just I love my mother and I want to.
No. And she was far from. She was never the kind of mother. She was never a stage mother.
I see.
Never. And as a matter of fact, she was very judicious in what she would even want me to do.
So she was a highly aware person.
Very aware.
Wow.
And that was fortunate, because when I then was a teenager, early teenager, there was some opportunities to have me tour and do this and that. After I made my debut with the Houston Symphony when I was 12. And she said, no, that's very kind, appreciate this, but we want him to have a career and a normal life, and we don't want him to just be, you know.
Yeah, just, you know, the push you into the concert.
Oh, no. They were never like that.
She probably had an inkling anyway what kind of incredible life that is.
Well, yes, she knew that. But what was interesting, her parents, and when she was coming along, that was what was so extraordinary. When she was coming along, it was just almost the unthinkable for a woman to go.
Oh, of course.
Traveling.
To be in New York.
To be in New York. But what was so interesting, that first she went to the Cincinnati Conservatory and graduated there, and it was while she was at Cincinnati.
Who did she study with there?
She studied with Frederick Shaler Evans.
I don't know that name.
And she had, what is the famous, it'll come to me. Theory teachers. They were just so wonderful, and I'll remember the names.
Doesn't matter.
But she heard Rachmaninoff in a recital, and then Arthur Friedheim came and played a recital, and she was just enchanted with his sound. It was so fabulous.
He played a recital in Cincinnati.
That's
what made her want to go to New York to study.
Well, yes, and then little time passed, and then in 1917 she heard that he was going to be in New York at the New York School of Music and Art, and which later merged with Juilliard. And so Ralph Leach Stirner was the president at that time. And so when she heard that he was going to be teaching there, she told her parents that that's what she'd like to do, you go study. And they said, you can go and study as long as you want to. But, you know, she just knew that, you know, for a young lady, and she was offered concerts.
Oh, no, it's such a world so different.
The world is so different now. I mean, people can't even conceive of how different the world is.
Of course, it's unreal.
But she could have had, if her life then were now, she would have a career. She would have had a career.
Well, yes, of course she would have. What was the first piece that you played that had like an extra attraction for you? That you knew, oh my God, what a piece this is. This is a Technicolor production. You know.
Well,
it may not have been one. You know.
Well, she had me doing all the 2 and 3 part inventions of Bach, and
so you grew up on Bach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Absolutely. And and she was just always fascinated with the art of the fugue, and of course she would always tell me the stories about how Chopin would begin his day with preludes and fugues, yes.
Right.
And
so she was telling you these things.
Telling me, and she, I can remember very vividly that she really didn't know too many nursery rhymes and that sort of thing, and you know, children's stories. But she would sit and entertain me with stories about things that she had heard Mr. Friedheim tell about life, you know, that he had heard the stories
he was
from St. Petersburg or from Weimar or Paris.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I was just
enraptured.
And I mean, I felt like I was living in another era.
But she was talking about a man who wrote a book. Well, it's not his title, but you know, Life in Liszt.
Life in Liszt, right?
It's a wonderful title in a sense because I mean, Liszt was larger than life.
Oh, he certainly was.
And you know, here you are, you know, in Texas, and you're in Shreveport, wherever, and you're hearing about this legend from not just, you know, some piano teacher, but from a woman who studied with, you know, a man literally that Liszt adored, and that was one of his late students. Amazing. So there's a great part of that.
Friedheim was for the last 6 years of Liszt's life his musical secretary.
Yes, he was his secretary, absolutely. And they had a wonderful, complex relationship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think that Friedheim was probably the first great Liszt sonata in America. You know, James Honecker. You know, he was the first to ever play at Carnegie Recital Hall.
That's right.
As the big hall was being built.
Exactly.
And what programs? My God, they were gargantuan.
They were gargantuan.
God, I mean, from the Hammerklavier to the Dove, I think, on the first, you know, program, as well as 10 other things. But there's one wonderful thing in the Life in Liszt van, which I always remembered. It must have been it must have been an interesting moment. He was playing the Benediction to God in the Solitude, Friedheim to Liszt, and Wittgenstein was in Rome. You know, they were in Rome together, and somehow they were together. Liszt was, you know, long separated from her, but they were together, and she terribly chastised him that nobody was to ever play that piece in front of her but him, but Liszt himself. And that was the piece that, by the way, in Weimar, this is an interesting connection, that when George Eliot was there with her friend Luz, which was, even that was, you know, like in Victorian times, the idea that, you know, she was an unmarried woman traveling with a man who was married at that time, because he couldn't get out of it. He was doing the first major Goethe book biography in English at the Altenburg. Liszt and the Wittgenstein had invited them, and Liszt played for George Eliot, and she said that it was it was a religious, she says, she didn't name it, but she says it was a religious fantasy, and it was the first time that she said she had ever really heard the pianoforte, she called it, and it was the first time that she ever beheld inspiration.
Oh, how beautiful.
Isn't that interesting? So I surmised also that it must have been Liszt playing to George Eliot, Benediction to God in the Solitude. Interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Interesting. And Friedheim was chastised by Wittgenstein for doing that. Not in her presence. And that was only for him to do. Isn't that something else?
That's something.
Anyway, so as you're thinking now, after those inventions, because you know they are not show-off pieces.
No.
Was there a specific?
But each time, if she'd hand me the anything at the very outset of my learning music, always was to sight sing before playing.
Really?
Yeah, sight sing, then play.
Oh,
Let me hear you sight sing.
but this is a fabulous thing for readers to because this is almost a totally gone thing.
That's what it is.
No one ever asks
Yes.
for such things. That's amazing. Okay, now.
And then when I heard my first opera, I was 4 years old, and I knew that's what I wanted.
You wanted to be in the opera.
Oh yeah.
Or music. What?
Yeah, no, opera. Opera's my favorite form of music.
I know it is. Yeah.
And that was just for me the greatest thrill of my life. And it was just so wonderful.
What a pity you only became a pianist.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm so grateful I had something to be able to express myself with.
Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing like expressing oneself vocally. You know, I mean, it's.
Oh, it truly is.
It's incredible. Every time I've ever been to an opera, I say, "Oh God, why didn't God do this for me?"
Yes, I know what you mean.
Oh my God, the envy, the jealousy of these tenors up there, soaring away.
I don't know, but my person, I don't think I had enough ego to be a tenor. What I wanted, I would have been happy to have been able to do roles like Don Giovanni or
Sure.
Scarpia.
Yeah. Well, that's some role, isn't it?
Or Boris or Pima. That would have been all right.
Yeah.
But I would have just loved to have sung in the opera. That would have been thrilling.
Oh yeah, nothing like that, I'm sure. But I think you had a great deal of a glorious moment singing in your own life. Believe me, on the percussive instrument.
Yeah,
as
on
they
the
say.
percussive instrument.
Okay, now let me see. Who was the first? What do I have here? Who was the first really famous pianist you heard?
Well,
what opera band was that? Do you remember?
Oh, the first opera I heard, Carmen.
Okay, Marvel, yeah.
And I'll never forget it. It was in Shreveport, and it was just, and she said, because she was a very good friend of the
director there.
The director of the chorus, and she said, why don't I take Van to the rehearsal, because then, I'm sure he'd probably, I wound up, I think there were 3 performances, and I went to all 3. And I just couldn't go.
4 you were
Oh
already.
yeah, and I sleep, no, I didn't fall asleep, I was just absolutely, couldn't wait for the next time.
Yeah.
And so when I was 4 years old, Rachmaninoff came to Shreveport.
Oh, 4 years old. Rachmaninoff was in Shreveport.
Yes,
And you remember this?
November the 14th, 1938.
No kidding.
And so I was primed because we had a Victrola, and I knew his name, I knew his music. And of course that was sort of my mother's hero, and of course he became mine.
Yeah.
And she'd heard him several times, both in New York and
Right.
In Cincinnati, and then Houston.
Those were the years of his high touring, of course.
Oh yeah, well, but I'm going back with Mother
Sure.
back to the teens and 20s.
When he came here earlier.
Yes, and so she had heard him so many times, and she just adored this man.
Yeah.
So she was on the committee.
Did she know him in any way? Did she ever meet him?
She got to meet him, yes.
Really?
And,
Any impression that she
was,
gave to you?
What was so incredible, because I guess I came down with the chicken pox and I wasn't able to go.
You couldn't go.
So, and I was just decimated that I was not able to go. But it was a great experience for the town.
Yes.
Rachmaninoff was coming to Shreveport,
Oh,
so
yeah,
of course they broadcast over the radio. Anyway, I would listen over the radio.
Oh, you did?
And so when she came home, she had been backstage with him, and she described in great and vivid detail, and I was just absolutely so enthralled. And then,
At 4, you understood all of this.
I knew that he was. And so then, when I was 5, I announced to my parents that I was going to be a concert pianist.
You announced it. You knew.
I knew.
But you didn't. But you knew then you were not going to be that opera singer, even though you loved it most.
No, I knew I was not going to be a singer.
You knew that you were.
Yeah.
You were.
No, I was going to be a concert pianist.
5 years old.
5 years old.
You don't remember of any of the pieces that Rachmaninoff played, of course.
No, I don't remember that program, and I have looked through lots of things, and I can't find. I have one of the things though that I do have is the announcement hard cardboard billboard. And I have it. I'm looking at it right now. I'm in the center, and at Municipal Auditorium, November the 14th, and this name, big, the cardboard Rachmaninoff, managed by Charles Foley. Yes.
Foley, of course.
Yes, and it was just, I just am so thrilled that got saved.
That's wonderful.
And that was...
but the program wasn't printed on that, no?
No, the program wasn't printed, and I don't know, so that I can't
after Rachmaninoff, now you're 4, you had the chicken pox. This is so touching. Really, yes. It's marvelous. Mm-hmm. And it was on the radio. Imagine today something like that happening,
Oh, yeah.
Impossible. And then what? Then what's your next, step with hearing an important pianist that you actually were having the aura of being in the hall?
Well, yeah, around it, Mother and Daddy were very, very careful. Anybody that was coming within, radius of 200-300 miles, we'd go to hear. Well, it wasn't just pianists. I can remember getting to hear Fritz Kreisler.
Really?
In Dallas. I was about 8.
So
7
you
or 8.
Traveled a great deal then.
Oh yes, we heard him in Dallas, as a matter of fact. And then when Toscanini had his big tour, that was the last one. I think I was about 9 or 10.
So she took you to all the...
Oh, they would drive me everywhere, and it didn't matter whether it was a school night or a weekend, whatever. There was a pillow and a blanket in the back seat.
Lucky
that was
kid.
it.
Lucky kid.
Drive.
We're getting in Rachmaninoff. We're getting in Friedheim. Did you ever hear Paderewski?
No, Mother did.
Yeah. He died. He died.
I think he died in 38, but she had heard him.
Yeah. Okay, now,
I didn't know this until somebody told me, and I never researched to see if it really was true, but I understand that at one point, Paderewski had a suite at the Salisbury Hotel. That's years and years ago.
Yeah. Question here. Oh, in the last 8 years, believe it or not, there's been, almost, you're talking the word you used, decimation before. Literally a decimation of the old-time pianists that have gone on, to other pastures.
Yeah.
I'd love to just have, and it would be interesting for people to read, your, just briefly on a few of these that have passed away that have been giants. And of course, we know your essay in my book on Horowitz, but I'd love to have a few more words since the man has passed on now. What was Horowitz in your life, and what do you think?
He was a great figure for so many people, because in addition to the beauty and the articulation that he brought charisma and excitement. He and Rubinstein just had excitement.
Yeah.
That was breathtaking.
What is that word, charisma?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You have the charisma. What is it that Horowitz had that made people? He just sat there. He didn't do anything with his.
No, but you heard music. Even before he played. I think that almost is what it's that you feel whatever you hear.
There was music before he even touched it.
Yes, it's that there's the presence. I always remember Laurence Olivier. Although only 2 times I saw him on stage, I never got to meet him. But it was such a presence; it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
You heard him speak before he spoke.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's marvelous. Okay, another big giant who died in '82. Just before, that's Rubinstein.
Yes. Oh, I loved this man. Mm-hmm. I got to meet him when I was 12. Oh, this is an interesting story. When I was 11, Jose Iturbi came to Dallas for a concert. And my mother, it was very interesting, my mother was always trying to look for another teacher for me, and she was always thinking, oh no, I must send him to someone. So we had these very good friends in Dallas, and they knew that we were going to the recital, and so they said, we'd like to have Van play for Iturbi, and so it's wonderful. So she didn't go with me, and she wanted me to go alone, and so I went in, and he heard me play, and he said, oh, "Oh, you play you play wonderfully. Who is your teacher?" And I said, "My mother." "Your mother? I want to meet her. I want to meet her right now." So Mother and Daddy were in the hotel across the street, and they came over, and he threw his arms around Mother, and he said, "Oh." He said, you certainly are the best teacher I've heard in America. He said, "I just can't believe this." And she said, "Oh, really?" He said, "I just wanted to give him to someone else." "No, you must keep him. You must keep him." It was really very sweet. I'll never forget that. I was so proud of her.
And Iturbe was quite a dashing figure.
Yes, and he was a wonderful player. He was a wonderful pianist.
Incredible evenness.
And really, yes, and it was wonderful that Mother and they struck up a friendship, and they corresponded, and right through to his death. It was so very nice. I'll never forget that the last concert that Jose played in New York, Vanda came, and we all had dinner afterwards, and it was so nice. It was just, what was that restaurant that was across the street from Lincoln Center? It was very fashionable at one time. Do you remember what I was?
Yeah, I know.
Very nice, fashionable restaurant, and we were there.
I know exactly.
Can't remember the name.
I know it's not there
But
now.
Vanda came, and she brought her greetings from Bologna. But
I didn't know she knew Iturbe. You know.
Yes.
Interesting. So Rubinstein, what did he mean to you?
He was so wonderful. When I met him when I was 12, he was the kindest, nicest person. And so when I made my Paris debut, which was after I'd come back from Russia, and then the first concert was London, and then went on to Paris. And Mr. and Ms. Rubinstein came to the concert, and when he came backstage, incidentally, when we had gotten to know him because we would go to concerts in New York, because Mother and I we lived 3 months in summers of 47, 48, and we're there in 50, I think. I can't remember. But we heard, he knew us, you know, as
although you were,
yes.
6, 7, 16, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, well, from 12, 13, 14, and 15, because he played in Dallas almost every year. And so when he came backstage, he said, "Oh, he's just going to have a nice great." He and my mother were they were good friends. It was just really sweet.
Really, really.
Yeah.
And his playing, did it have any influence on you? That grand style.
Always had something to take. We were the same with Mr. Howard. You always had something to take home with you.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know, it was just so thrilling. It was so.
Great phrase.
Yes, it was always something to take home.
Great phrase.
And savor. It was just so breathtaking. And there were so many times there were pieces that will forever remain in my mind with those gentlemen. The F-sharp minor Polonaise. That I remember at Evening with Mr. Rubinstein. The Polonaise Fantasy, one of the Carnegie Hall concerts, recitals. That was so stupendous. I do, but I don't remember anything else on the program. It was that kind of thing.
Of course.
When that finished, I was still in the awe of that piece, and every time I hear that piece, I think of Mr. Howard's.
Yes. Okay, another one that died around 87, a great virtuoso, Gilels.
Well, Gilels was just one of the dearest people to me. He was just so wonderful. He was the chairman of the jury for the competition.
Oh, really?
Yes, and on the jury was Richter and Marquis de Gontaut-Biron, Flier, Jakob Sark,
yes,
Oborin.
That whole great,
Kabalevsky. It was an incredible jury. It was so formidable. It was just frightening.
Yes.
And after the competition, Gilles was just such a wonderful friend, and he just, I can't, and most every time, most of the times when he would be in New York, a piece that I always think of with him, because the first time I heard him was when he first came to New York. It was not with Philadelphia. I think it was for a recital. And I had made friends, of course, through being in school there. I had made friends with some of the ushers, and one of the ushers got me a stage seat. It was a fabulous seat. And I'll never forget the program because it was F sharp minor sonata of
Right,
Schumann.
yes.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there, but I know he recorded it.
And both Brooks of Image and Petrushka. Well, I was studying. I was learning Petrushka. And Mila had his own way with that piece.
Yeah, Gilles played it like nobody else.
Well,
right?
he did, and but it was his. He had his stamp on that piece.
Yes.
And well, I never played the piece in public. I went home,
Really?
I put it up on the shelf, and that's it. And I thought I was in the awe. I said, I've heard that piece played the way it should be. I will not waste my time with it.
Yeah. Oh, he played it. Oh my God.
Oh, it was fantastic, and I never had any desire to play the piece after that.
Yeah. No, I can well understand.
Yeah, it was just thrilling. It was so thrilling. I said, no, that's it.
Yeah, I understand. One that died in '82, Glenn Gould. Now,
Oh, Glenn, I was very fond of, and when we were young, I was playing in London, and he was playing Beethoven C minor with Cripps in London, and I was doing a recital, and so we had a couple of meals together, and went walking, and I had a piano in my room, and I'll never forget one of the times he came up to my apartment, and he was talking about music, and he was wanting to illustrate a phrase, and we were both talking about the E minor partita, and I tell you that his...
Oh, I know.
And the piano, I mean, it was just a silly practice piano.
Yeah.
That was in the sitting room, and it put his hands on the keyboard.
His voice was just like another species.
But it was but everything. No, he had incredible. It was a sound. It was a presence. It was just thrilling. But the only thing we disagreed about, and I was so vehement about, and he was vehement, he said, oh, well, one day, concerts will be passé.
Oh, I know.
All you do is put on a recording. I said, but Glenn, this is impossible because you just touched the piano. How can you say that? Because I get such an electrical magnetic charge out of hearing your sound at that very moment, not a recording.
So he was saying that bull that early, huh?
Oh yes, he was making those kinds of statements even.
I think that incessant, frankly, I love Gould, and I knew him on the phone, and he's in the book. It was his last interview, and I have the manuscript because, of course, he wouldn't see me, so he wrote it out.
Right.
But I had many agreeable conversations, and of course, his self-absorption was so vast, Van, that you really never said anything. You just listened for hours, But he would always say marvelous things. I said, well, I think you should play some more Scarlatti because, the three that you've recorded are wonderful. Josh Scarlatti, he says, that's popcorn, and things like that. But what did I say? Oh, yeah, I think that this incessant propaganda at a time when technology was taking over the world, it really has hurt the public concert. That Gould actually has had a major influence in people saying, oh, no, I'd rather stay home listening to records, I don't know if you agree or not.
Well, I think that was his idea, and I think he was happy being at home, and I don't really think he cared about going places too much.
Yeah.
That we both agreed on because I was not very much. I was such a homebody myself. I was never. When I think about certain aspects of my life, I'm amazed that I've had a career because I was never somebody who wanted to travel. That was not high on my list.
My God, for years you.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That was not something that I really wanted. Would set out for my life's goal.
Yeah.
And so to think that I was involved in a profession that required a great deal of travel, I look back and I say, oh my, I'm amazed. Because my personality is very much, I love being at home.
Yeah, and travel is also hell now.
Well, travel is so complicated now. It really truly is. I know I have to go to Phoenix in the morning.
Oh my God!
And I think, oh my, but I want to because I'm going to be with my good friends, the Harveys, Paul and Angel Harvey, and their son has a wonderful piano sonata, and that man is going to play it.
Really?
Yeah, he's an excellent pianist. He really truly is, and so this performance and a dinner.
I don't want to tire you out too much. Let's go on then to another recent death, Tchaikovsky.
Oh, he was just one of the dearest people.
Yes, he was.
No, that was a fantastic pianist and a dear man.
Yeah.
Oh my, what great sounds! It was something interesting because he's played here on our series twice.
Yeah.
And
I was very surprised that I'd never thought of this man dying at 85.
Oh no! I was sure that we were going to, have a recital on his 100th birthday. And
man, he's in this book. I found an interview with him that I forgot I did, and that it was, his voice and his this and that. He was
didn't it give you goosebumps? Yes.
It actually, though, was music. It had content in it. And I didn't think it did, years ago when I made it, and I totally forgot about it, and that's what really, in a sense, spurred on this next new edition, because I was very upset that the man died, and I never interviewed him.
It just killed me when I heard he passed away. Oh, and it was so cute because we were talking about practicing and all, and that's the common worry that we all have to have is enough practice and get it in practice and all that sort of thing. And so he was talking, he said, well, one of the things I like to do is to practice the large chords slowly to be sure that they're clean. And I said, oh, isn't that true? I said, I feel the same way. I try to practice. And of course, I was always trained with Mother to practice very slowly. And then to be able to know the difference between playing and working.
Yes.
And so...
very good.
Yeah. But that was one of his... He said to be sure that the accords are secure. And I thought, oh, that's so true.
Very good, very good. This is all great. Did you ever get to hear Michelangelo or meet him?
I've never gotten to hear him in person.
So few did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had no congress with him at all in any way.
No, never did.
Anyone else you want to talk about who passed on? Richter is about the only one of that school.
Isn't that amazing?
Everyone is gone.
Because I did get to hear Flier and Oborin
and do you want to talk about did you have any opinion of Curzon or?
Oh, wasn't he when I will always remember a Beethoven Fourth with him. It was just so beautiful.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Such a lovely
Fierkushny was, I couldn't get over that.
Recently.
He was too young.
But he was also, it's amazing how active they were. He was still 83 or 84, 19.
I know.
Yeah. But again,
just didn't seem...
He was so handsome and so suave and so patrician and so gentlemanly and so in touch with his powers.
I'll never forget when he made his debut with the New York Philharmonic. I heard it. It killed Gore. I'll never forget. I think, if I'm not mistaken, his debut was in the Mendelssohn G minor. With the Philharmonic, and it was just staggeringly wonderful. And I listened to the New York Philharmonic every Sunday afternoon and every Saturday afternoon the Metropolitan Opera. I mean, those were just fabulous things that I was able to have on the radio.
Yes. And what about any words on Solomon, who had such a tragic career?
I got to hear Solomon.
You did?
I did, and it was stupendous. I thought he was a great pianist.
Because, the stroke came in 56, and that poor man was...
I think it was in the season 52-53 that I got to hear him. I got to hear Giesecke, and also, I loved Myra Hess.
Oh, I did too.
Oh, I loved Myra Hess. I'll never forget a Brahms D minor that she did with Bruno Walter. Because I studied with Bruno Walter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the last 3 years of his life. And I got to play with Bruno Walter his last concert a Brahms B flat.
My God.
On the 4th of December, 1960.
My goodness, what an incredible.
The Los Angeles Philharmonic.
This was what I think.
It was the first pension concert that they instituted their pension concert that night.
One of the great. So we're talking on conductors. I'll just ask you. I know that your incredible Tchaikovsky, which you know was.
Oh yeah, and we lost
Kondrashin.
Kondrashin.
Tell me about him, because he seems to me one of
he was a pianist.
The great accompanist I've ever heard. Am I right?
He was. Oh.
And he's in your Rachmaninoff third, isn't he? Yes. I mean, that's one of the great Rachmaninoff thirds of all time.
And there's also, do you know my recording? It was a live performance, but we released it on RCA. Brahms B flat.
Yes.
And also the.
So am I correct in thinking that, because when I hear him, I think that this man really understands accompanying the pianist.
He understood. Well, you see, he was an opera conductor, and opera conductors can do anything.
My God, yes, that's it. They can do anything, especially if they're and they were all trained to be that.
Yeah.
From Zell on, from Strauss, they were
exactly. Because during the time I was there first in Moscow, I got to hear he did I think he filled in for somebody at the last one of the conductors. I got to hear Francesca Di Rimini of Ryan. With the Curio.
Really? No one ever hears
conducting, the opera. And it was produced at Bolshoi.
That's a good opera, isn't it?
Excellent, and so wonderful.
Can you imagine talking about an opera conductor who was a great, orchestra conductor? Here you are, you've played the, your recording is legendary of the third Rachmaninoff. Imagine that Rachmaninoff's second performance of it in 1909 was.
Can you imagine Mahler?
Can you imagine doing it?
Can you imagine?
I'll bet you must have once or twice in your life thought, my God, I would have liked to have played this with Mahler.
Would I have loved that?
Yeah, because Rachmaninoff was stunned at his, details, rehearsal and everything.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, so...
and isn't it wonderful that piece was written for the American tour?
Yes, the American tour, indeed.